Hey guys, welcome back to DubWerks. My brand new welder just came in from Eastwood. It's a MIG 135, does flux core and MIG, and has infinite adjustability, so you get those perfect welds every time. So, we're going to get right into the unboxing. I'm going to cut it open and we're going to see what's in the box. Alright, so let's get right into this. This welder can be had for under $300 and even for $199 if you hit the right sale. So let's see what's inside this box. Alright, so let's get right into this. On top we have the manual. This is going to be very helpful for a new welder. It's got all the settings you need to set your gas up if you're doing MIG. So yeah, you'll definitely need that if you're a new welder. Under this, we have the pressure regulator. This is for MIG only. If you're doing flux core, you don't need this, but I highly suggest you do MIG. If you're doing anything like a car, the sheet metal is so thin, flux core won't cut it. So right here we have the MIG gun connected to the wire feeding tube. This seems to be really high quality. It's rubber, not plastic like some other cheaper welders, and it's got the gas feeder hose on it. This is really high quality, really like that. Right here, hidden in the corner that I'm not going to be able to get really well, this is a box of MIG wire. This is 0.6 mil, so about 0.023 inches. This is probably good. You should use this and then get a roll of another wire when you're done with it. It'll probably work really well. And here we see the welder handle. Okay, so I'm going to take a whole bunch more cardboard off. The welder is really packed well. This box has the charger in it. Keep that safe. And there it is. Wow, there's more foam too. Okay, so this is really well packed. Really great Eastwood. Okay, so I'm going to get it all out of the plastic and the styrofoam and set it up so you can see what else is in the box. Alright, so we got everything set out here from the box. We have our gun and cable. This is what you're going to want to be holding when you're welding. You buzz like that. This end over here plugs into the bottom of the welder, and this is what your gas flows through. This plugs in here, direct gas flow. It goes all the way through the cable out to this. That's what your nozzle is for. The nozzle keeps the gas set to one area so that you get really good welds. And over here, we have the MIG wire that comes with the gun. This is 0.6 millimeter. This is probably going to be really well for your first few welds. But after you start getting into some heavier work, you might want to get a better quality, but this will definitely work for your first few. And here is the pressure regulator for your gas tank. You plug it into the gas tank, and you set the pressure you want the gas to flow out at. I normally have mine set to around 15, so down here, because you use the inside. But you can set it to anything. Mine's set there so that I use enough gas that I can get a good weld, but not too much gas that I have to keep paying for a new tank. And here is a mystery box. It was underneath the welder inside the bigger box, so we're going to see what's in here. Oh boy. This is a handheld welding mask and the ground clamp. Okay, we'll get to this first. This is the ground clamp. This is actually really good. High quality. It's got the copper braided wire there, and it's got enough play that you can get around some heavy duty items like some square inch, 1 inch square tube, anything like that. And this is the cable you're going to run from your gas tank to the back of your welder, right here. This is so that you can get gas from the tank to the welder through the cable and out to the gun. But in the box on top was this. This is a handheld welding mask. I don't use them. I would not suggest you use one of these. This is if you're going to be really a beginner and don't want to buy like a Harbor Freight mask, anything like that off of Amazon, there's a, whatever, it's number 7 probably, number 7, whatever it's called, a piece of glass in there. You put that there, it's got a handle, and there's a wire brush too. Might want to get a better quality one. That's plastic, I wouldn't suggest that. But this has a handle, you hold it and you can weld. I personally wear a auto darkening, I think it's from Amazon. It's an auto darkening helmet so that I can see through it. When I start welding, it darkens immediately. It's really good. But yeah, this will probably work for like 1 weld or 2 welds, but I would suggest getting a darkening helmet from like Harbor Freight. Okay, so I noticed another thing in here. This is a pack of Tweeko style contact tips for the front of the welder. They go inside the MIG gun. It sets, you can kind of see this one here. This sets what size wire you're using. So if you're using 0.035 inch wire, that you change out that. I'm assuming there's one of those in here, and 0.023 has its own. And this is the wrench you're going to want to use for that. You use one of these sizes right here, put it on, twist it, comes off. You can swap them really easily. Really nice to see that in here. And I'll just show you a look at all this stuff too. This is the welding mask and all that stuff. So here's the handle, clips on there. Here's your wire brush. Not too many wires, and this hammer on the back, not really too good. I was just getting a legitimate hammer, and here's the piece of glass, the darkened glass, so that you can weld. I'm gonna actually see what number it is. I said it might be a 7, but it might actually be like 11 or 13 or something crazy. So let me get in there. It's going to be a pain to come out. Right here, shade number 10. Okay, it's a number 10, not a number 7. Once again, though, I still wouldn't recommend using it. You still might get flashes of light around the sides, something like that. So really get a legitimate helmet, not just a handheld one. Alright guys, I have my welder set up on my welding cart. A welding cart is a great accessory to be paired up with your welder for ease of use and organization, anything like that. So now I'm going to show you how I have my welding cart set up. Alright guys, let's start at the back of the welding cart. Here I have my gas tank. This is a 75-25 tank, which is 75% argon, 25% CO2. Now, I'm not exactly sure what size tank it is. I can't remember, but it's either a 40 or a 60. But here you see there's a fitting on the tank. This is your pressure regulator, and there's a fitting on the machine. So that's what this is for. This is the tube that comes with the machine. You put one end in the pressure regulator, the other end in the machine, and that's how gas gets from the tank to the machine to the end of your welding gun. So I'm going to connect these up using a pair of channel locks, and I'm going to show you what that looks like when I'm done doing that. Alright, so we have the cable tube thing tightened on here. First we hand tightened it and then used a pair of channel locks to tighten it, but not too tight, because if you tighten it too tight, you will mar the brass fittings and you might make it harder to remove them, which will be a hindrance when you go to replace your tank because they do run out. I'd also like to point out here that I have this changer there because this thing, if it falls over, it is a pressurized canister. You might have a flying tank of argon going through your house or your garage. It's not going to be good, so just make sure you have it chained on pretty good. It's not going anywhere. Alright, once you have your gas tank set up, you're going to want to get your gun and cable set up. But before you do that, you have to open the side of the welder. Now, while I'm here, I'd like to explain this. This is a welding chart that tells you exactly what settings you need to do on the welder so that you can get the perfect weld for the material you're using. So say you have 22 gauge and are doing C25 gas, D3 is exactly what you need to use, and you'll get a perfect weld. But what we're here for is for this. This wing nut is what will tighten this, your gun and cable, in. So when we place the gun on the ground and get the cable here, you place the cable there and then move to the inside of the machine and tighten the wing nut. Now, while the wing nut tightens down, it's going to lock this in place, and then you're going to take this is for your gun trigger and gas, and you're going to tighten this down. Now that's good, your gun trigger is working, gas is going to be flowing through this is all set up, that's good. Alright, so once you have your gun and cable set up, you're going to take your ground clamp out of the package and feed it through this hole. So, you do that, feed it through there, and you're going to place this through that white little cable thing. Let me do that for a second. Alright, once that's through there, you're going to unscrew this black terminal lug right here. It's plastic though, so it might take a second because it's too cold out. So you're going to want to do that and place this hole here on top of the terminal, and then re-screw this back on. That's going to be your ground clamp. That's going to be perfect. Alright. Now that's all set up. Ground clamp's good. All set. Alright, once you have your welding gun and cable and your ground clamp installed, you're ready to install your wire. Now, this little thing here is for a 10-pound spool. This is a 2-pound spool, so you're going to want to take this off. So, you want to do the wing nut and pull this off. Wing nut comes out, and there's also this spacer here. This goes in front of the wire. So, place the wire spool on, then take this. This has a little notch here that goes into this. You take that, get that on there, and take your wing nut. Now, this, you have to do it specifically. There's a tension you have to get here that I'm not going to show at the moment, but you have to get a certain tension so that this doesn't drag, or it doesn't get stuck, and it has enough that it can pull. It is now time to feed the wire. So, first you're going to knock this down like that and flip this up. Then you're going to take this off. While you're doing this, make sure to keep a hand on it, because if you don't, the whole thing will unravel and it will be a big, as they say, bird's nest. So, keep a hand on it and take a pair of cutters and snip the wire so that it's straight. Then you're going to want to pull it and feed it through this hole right here. Right, like so. It's going to feed through there, and you're going to want to get it through the other brass end there. And now it's a little bit hard to do, but once you get it, you're going to place this down and flip this up. You've now fed your wire, and you can start adjusting the tension of it. Alright, now that you've had your wire fed through this, you're going to want to take your gun, turn your machine on after you've plugged it in, and set your wire speed to about 5. Now you're setting it to 5 because that's right in the middle of its speeds, so that's about average of where you normally be for mild steel. So then you're going to pull the trigger and let it feed through. But you're going to want to keep the gun kind of straight because the wire has to make its way through this whole cable without doing anything wrong. Now, you'll kind of feel it when it comes through here, at least I can. So now the wire has come out of the gun. You're going to want to take your cutters again and clip it to about 1/4 inch. That's just general welding that you want to at least 1/4 inch stick out for most steel. But, yeah. Once you have your wire fed through the gun, you can turn your machine off, and it's now time to tension the spool. Now this, you want to turn this wing nut until you can about turn that like halfway with one finger push. So that's kind of tight, so you want to turn it off a little looser. That's kind of good, right there. That's probably going to be good. And this one you tighten for the speed you're using. So say I'm doing 20 gauge, that's going to be E4. So I come over to the front of the machine, I turn this back to E, and turn this down to 4. Now I turn it on and see if it works. If it works, then we're good. That's working perfectly. So the tension's set very well. So that's all you have to do to tension your machine. Now, you want to make sure that you test it for tensioning through all the speeds that you're going to be using, but since I'm working on the Volkswagen, it's only really 20 gauge, so E4 is where I want to set it for tension to. So that just about does it for the Eastwood MIG 135. You can set your card up how you like, get your cable organized, clamp your ground to the front of it, get your battery cable kind of wrapped up. I really like the welder. Very good for the money, very comparable to like a Hobart or a Lincoln for half the price, and you get all the parts that come with those, maybe even a few more if you get the spool gun and the cart kit for just a little more. So yeah, really great welder. I give it a 10 out of 10. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe, like it if you liked it, don't like it if you don't, and thank you guys for watching.